Hello and welcome to StudGenie classes. In our polity section, we have learned various topics till now. Now, in this video, we will be dealing with the federal system of government. In the previous video, we dealt with in depth with the parliamentary system. In this video, we will deal and do a complete analysis about the federal system of government. So, federal system of government. So, from where the federal system of government will come from? The government established in a federation will be known as a federal government. Common sense. If a federation will not be in existence, then from where the federal government will come? So, for federal government to exist, there must be a pre-existence of a federation. So, from where does the term federation has been come from? Federation has been come from a Latin term, Latin word, fidus. This is a Latin word, fidus. From fidus, the Latin word, federation has come. So, what does this fidus imply? What does this fidus mean? Fidus means treaty or agreement. Fidus, which is the Latin word from where our federation has been derived, is a treaty or an agreement. So, what can we draw in our minds about a federation? A federation is nothing but an union of states signing a common treaty or agreement. We can term this as a new state or a new political system. A new state or political system established by signing of a treaty or agreement between its various units. So these individual units, they might be having some names. So these are different in different federations. We have federations. The USA is an exemplary federal government. We have federal government in Switzerland, Canada, Russia. So in all these nations, the units are known as by different names. We call those units as states in case of your USA, as cantons in case of your Switzerland. The units we know very well, USA consists of 50 states. There are various numbers of House of Representative members in US Senate. In US Senate, we have 100 members, 2 members from each state. Equal representation of states. We will read that in detail during American War of Independence, American Revolution, in War History section, that how they gave the equal representation to states, how the House of Representative members have been elected, how everything is happened, what are the history behind it. Now, in Canada, if we will take a look, cantons in Switzerland, provinces in Canada. In Canada, these units are termed as provinces. republics in case of Russia. Your Russia is also a federal government headed by Vladimir Putin right now. USA recently concluded presidential elections. Donald J. Trump lost and Joe Biden won the election as per the reports up till date. But the battle is going on now in the US Supreme Court, as we all know. Now, there are two types of government. I have told one name, that is the federal government. Federal. And another type of government is your unitary government. Unitary government. We will look how political analysts have analyzed the differences between your federal type of government and your unitary type of government. So what is a federal government? A federal government is that government where the constitution has provided for separate powers between the central government and the unitary governments. That is, the government existing in the various units, you can call them states, cantons, provinces, as we have seen. So the separation of powers is existing and is clearly mentioned in the constitution itself between the central government and the provincial governments. And both the governments, they operate individually within their respective jurisdictions. What is unitary government? In case of your unitary governments, no clear-cut separation of powers. No clear-cut separation of powers exist. There might not be existence of any regional governments as well. And if any regional governments exist, in case of your unitary government, then they would be deriving their power from the central government only. Regional governments derive power from your central government. So here, in case of your unitary government, your central government becomes highly powerful. So regional government's decision might be overruled by your central government. These are some of the features of your unitary government, and on this basis, political scientists divide governments into two types, either as federal or as unitary. So we will look at the basic differences between. Now let's look at the basic differences between your federal governments and your unitary governments. In case of your federal government, dual governance exists. Dual governments. But in case of your unitary government, single government, only the national government will exist. But there might be some regional governments in existence, but they would be deriving their power from the all-powerful national government. In case of your federal government, you will find written constitutions. But coming to your unitary government, you may or may not find written constitutions. For example, your government of Britain. In Britain, we don't have a written constitution, and we are discussing it again and again right from your amendment of constitution chapter. In case of your federal government, clear separation or division of powers are present. Division of powers. But in case of your unitary government, no division of powers. right? Now, in case of your federal government, supremacy of constitution is present. Constitution is supreme. But in case of your unitary government, constitution might be supreme or constitution might not be supreme. In case of your federal government, rigid constitution is present. Constitution cannot be changed easily. We have discussed between rigid and flexible constitutions. While amendment of constitution I was discussing. If you have any doubts regarding rigid and flexible constitutions, please go to the amendment of constitution chapter and have a look at that video. Here constitutions might be rigid or flexible. Rigid or flexible. In federal system of governments, we have independent judiciary. Independent judiciary. In case of unitary government, we may or may not get independent judiciary. Independent judiciary may or may not present. May or may not present. In case of your federal government, you will find bicameral legislature. Because we have to accommodate the units, the provincial governments, the provinces, the states. We need to. In India also, what is Rajya Sabha known as? Council of States. We call Rajya Sabha as Council of States. And as I have shown you, Senate, American Senate, it consists of equal representation of states. 2 members from each state, 50 states in total USA has, and 100 members in Senate. So, bicameral legislature in case of your federal system of government. But in case of your unitary government, you may or may not find. Bicameralism. You might find unicameralism in case of your unitary governments. But in case of your federal governments, you will find bicameralism. Right? Because here provinces, states, they are more powerful. Here they derive their power from the central government or the national government only. In India, the Constitution of India provides for a federal system of government. The framers of the Indian Constitution has realized the importance of federal system of government because of 2 reasons: vast size and highly socio-cultural diversification. High socio-cultural diversity. The framers of the Indian Constitution realized in order to provide an efficient governance to a nation of such a vast size, as well as having so much socio-cultural diversity, in previous videos I have told you that India is a classic example or the best example of the term unity in diversity. We have so diverse environment around us, so diverse culture. If you will travel west, you will find different culture. Travel east, different culture. North, separate culture. Northeast, another type of culture. South, completely different culture. So the cultural, they are so much divided cultural aspect, yet they are unified. So a classic example of unity in diversity, and in order to maintain that unity in diversity, we need to govern them efficiently, and to administer them efficiently, we need to have autonomous provincial governments, that are the state governments or the regional governments in some aspects, and a powerful central government also in some aspects. That's why we have three lists: state list, union list, concurrent list. State list only for the states, union list only for the center, the parliament, and concurrent list for both center and state. So, the framers of Indian Constitution have provided for federal system of government because of the vast size of the nation and for the high socio-cultural diversity pertaining in India. So I have told you the framers of Indian Constitution opted for a federal system of government. But who can tell me in which article it has been mentioned that Indian government is a federal government? The term federation, you will not find it in the Constitution. But in Article 1, in place of your federation, it has been mentioned Union of States. In Indian Constitution, you will find the term Union of States but not Federation of States. Why so? Explaining this replacement of Federation of States with Union of States, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar justified that Indian Federation is not the result of an agreement between the states, as like your American Federation. Further, in India, the states don't have any right to secede from the union. The union is indestructible. Therefore, the federation is union. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said, Indian state union is not an agreement between the states. Indian Union has not been formed as an agreement between the state, as in we can witness in US, United States of America. The states have signed an agreement. Further, in case of Indian Union, the states cannot secede. The states cannot secede from the union. That means the states cannot withdraw themselves from the union. No, any state cannot withdraw from Indian Union. Therefore, the union is indestructible. The union is indestructible in nature. Therefore, it is not a federation, rather a union. So, on these are the arguments of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar regarding the preference of the term Union of States over Federation of States. So, these are the things that led to the replacement of this term in place of this term in Indian Constitution. Now, let's take a look at the federal features of the Indian Constitution. What are the federal features that have been provided in the Constitution of India? Number one is dual polity. The Indian Constitution provides for a dual political structure in the nation, one at the central level, another at the regional, provincial or state level. We witnessed two types of elections, state election and national election. The political structure is different. It is in lines, but it is different. Prime Minister at the center, Chief Minister at the state. So it provides for a dual polity. The Constitution of India, it provides for a dual polity, one at the national level, other at the state level. The second important feature or the federal feature of Indian Constitution is Indian constitution is a written constitution, not only a written constitution. It is in fact the lengthiest constitution of the world. Indian constitution is the lengthiest constitution of the world. We will discuss sometimes while taking the life classes why Indian constitution is known as the lengthiest constitution and how it became, what are the reasons behind of becoming the lengthiest constitution of the world. We will be talking about it someday in the life classes. And the third important federal feature of Indian constitution is division of powers. Division of powers between your central government and your state government. 7th schedule of Indian constitution provides state list, union list, concurrent list that indicates clear division of powers. These are the subjects that will be looked after your central government, that these are the subjects looked after your state governments, those are in state list, and in concurrent list would be looked after by both the center as well as state. So 7th schedule of the Constitution of India provides for a clear division of power between your central government and your state government. It's again a federal feature of Indian Constitution. Regarding the schedules, all the schedules and parts of the Constitution will be covered in your live classes. Visit our website today itself. The link of it has been provided in the description itself. The next important federal feature is rigidity of your constitution. Indian constitution is rigid to such an extent that it could be amended by following a somewhat existing amendment feature. We need special majority for amending the constitution. And in case of your federation, in case of amending the constitution involving federal features, apart from passing the amendment bill in the central legislature, that is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, that constitutional amendment bill needs to be passed by more than 50% of the states in the nation. Then only that constitutional amendment bill can become an act, or else it cannot become an act, though the state governments need to pass it by a simple majority only. But more than 50% of the states must pass that constitutional amendment bill in order to it become an act. Supremacy of the constitution. Indian constitution is supreme. It does not derive power from anywhere. It is the supreme document of the nation. That is another federal feature. Independence judiciary. In India, we have independent judiciary, independent Supreme Court. The judiciary is headed by our Supreme Court. The judiciary is independent in order to uphold the supremacy of the constitution and also to resolve the center and state disputes. The next important feature is, your federal feature of the constitution is bicameral legislature, bicameralism. We have both the houses, as I have told, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha is nothing but your council of states. These are known as your representation of states, and your Lok Sabha represents the entire public of the India. The entire people, the public of the nation has been represented by your Lok Sabha, and the states of the union has been represented by your Rajya Sabha. So bicameralism also turns out to be a feature of your federal system of government provided in the Constitution of India. So we have discussed by far the federal features of the Constitution of India. So is the Indian Constitution completely federal? No. The Indian Constitution also contains some of the unitary features, unitary government features. For example, strong central government. We know that in India the central government has the power, is strong enough to rule over the state governments, to rule over the legislations of the state legislature. Hence, the strong center established in India is not in line with the federal system of government. States can be destructible states. We know the boundaries, the sizes, the names of the states are just like on the mercy of the parliament, because it just takes a simple majority in order to alter the boundaries, names, regions of the states. So this is also another unitary aspect of the Constitution. This cannot be a federal aspect because it can be done very easily just by a simple majority of the parliament. Another important unitary feature of Indian Constitution is single constitution. In India, we have single constitution, whereas in many of the federations, the provinces are autonomous in order to frame their own constitution. There are various federal states or the federal nations where the provinces have their own constitutions. But in India, the constitution has not provided for any provision, rather it disregarded this aspect and downplayed it. Next important feature is single citizenship. Single citizenship. Indian citizen is a single citizenship. India provides for single citizenship. India advocates for single citizenship. Indian Constitution advocates for single citizenship. Whereas in case of federal government, we know very well in USA, there is a system of dual citizenship, one of the state and other of the union. But in case of India, we have single citizenship, only an Indian citizen. Nowhere it is mentioned that he is citizen from that state. So this also showcases another unitary feature of Indian Constitution. Another important unitary feature of Indian Constitution, of our Constitution, is flexibility of the Constitution. We have witnessed the highly rigid US Constitution while discussing the amendment of Constitution. We saw how rigid the US Constitution was to amend, and in front of US Constitution, how flexible Indian Constitution to amend. We have more than 100 amendments, whereas in US, it is not even 30. After more than 200 years of the Constitution coming into force, 30th constitutional amendment has not been done in US, whereas within 70 years of India's independence, we have made more than 100 amendments. So this can be also told as the flexibility of Constitution as another unitary feature of Constitution of India. Another important unitary feature is your emergency provisions. During your emergency, your central government becomes all powerful. Central government can only declare emergency, central government can only take away emergency, but your states have no role to play in case of your emergency provisions. Parliament's control over state legislature. Parliament's control over state. We know very well in case of concurrent list, that is that those subjects where center can make laws and states can also frame their own laws. But what happens if there is a clash between the center and the state laws? Whose laws will prevail? We know that in case of a clash between central law and state law, the central law will prevail and the state law will be abrogated. So that showcases unitary tendency of Indian Constitution. Another important unitary feature is your appointment of governor. The Constitution nowhere prescribes the presence of states while appointing the governor of a state. Various commissions have recommended this, but these have not been incorporated into the Constitution. President on his will means on the recommendation of the cabinet. President on the recommendation of the cabinet can appoint any person as the governor of a state without even consulting the government or the chief minister of that state. So this showcases another unitary aspect of Indian Constitution. All India services. So what are all India services? Those services for which you are preparing, for appearing for which you are watching my videos right now, your IAS, IPS, IFS, these all come under your all India services. Are these an unitary feature? Absolutely yes. Because your IAS, IPS officers are employees of your central government. They are not employees of your state government. Hence, but they remain in the states and perform their duties. Mainly the IAS officers and the IPS officers. So, this also showcases another unitary aspect or the unitary feature of Indian Constitution. The list goes on. Integrated audit machinery, election machinery, these all showcases our unitary tendency of Indian Constitution. So, if you like this video, you find this video informative, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, share this video with your friends, and if you want to attend the live classes of Indian polity and current affairs, then you can log on to our website www.studgenie.com, and I promise you, you will get the highest of the quality in the lowest of the prices. So please don't delay and grab the offer.